Hey, welcome to this new video series I'm kinda toying with. The idea behind this is D&D has just given me so much over the years. It's connected me to a lot of wonderful people. It's just given me a lot, and I want to give something back if I can. So I thought what I would do is I'd help Wizards of the Coast out by giving them some artwork for the next time they revamp the monster manual. They come out with a new edition and they need a new monster manual and all new art, new designs for their creatures. I thought I'd just take care of a few of them for them, so that they'd have less pressure on their own team. I'm a big fan of Lovecraftian horrors, aberrations, things like that. So we're going to start off with a monster that is both kind of a classic D&D monster, a very recognizable one that even people who haven't played D&D might have seen before, and at the same time is very much in my wheelhouse. This fun fella here is the Mind Flayer. Now, as you can see, the Mind Flayer's had a pretty consistent design over the years. The Mind Flayer is pretty much always a humanoid with a Cthulhu kind of face and a outfit from Hot Topic. Not a lot of change over the years for this one, which is why I think when 6th edition comes out, they're gonna really want to shake things up a bit. So I'm gonna try to look at what conceptually about the Mind Flayer makes it so scary, and work that into my design for them. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get rid of that humanoid body, that basic human-like form. I see humanoid people every day. I see them at the grocery store. I see them everywhere in my neighborhood. They don't scare me. I'm going to focus more on the non-human aspect of the Mind Flayer, which is, of course, that big old squiddly diddly head. So I'm just going to get to the core of what I think is going to be this design, and that is just an angry octopus. We're going to have all the cool bits of octopus anatomy, those interesting alien-looking tentacles, the siphon that comes off to the side. We're going to have all that, but we want to make this clear. This is not like some innocent creature out in nature. This octopus is an asshole. This is an octopus that hates, and it hates you specifically. I'm going to take some time to get that pissed off, malevolent gaze in there, because that's a key aspect, obviously. I mean, if I see an octopus, I'm not necessarily scared, but if that octopus is pissed off at me, I'd probably wonder what I did wrong, and that's the kind of psychological warfare a Mind Flayer is all about. Gonna get those cool little figure 8 pupils in there. You know what, actually, let's have it looking directly at us, so it's like, yeah, no, it's you I'm mad at. Now, I know I said let's get rid of the humanoid anatomy, and I meant that, but also, there is something about the Mind Flayer's hands that I think is really cool and creepy. They've got these 3-fingered hands that have these really long, gnarly fingers, and it's just kind of a nice, subtle touch. It makes them feel alien in a way that's, a little less obvious. So I do want to keep those cool, gnarly hands in there. But I'm not going to give it a human body again, and let's be honest, it's already got more arms than it can handle, so I'm going to just make those its new legs. Gonna just get a couple of long, lanky wrists in there. Yeah! Get those nice, long, gnarly, creepy fingers with those big claw-like nails. I want them to look a little bit gnarly and kind of gross, even, I guess. Now, I want you to look at this and imagine this thing just skittering down some tunnel in the Underdark with those little creepy hand feet just going click, 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 click against the stone floor. Like, that's scary. This thing is already kind of scaring me. Now, one thing about what we've done with the design is we've kind of taken away the clothes. I want to give it some clothes. Because That's a nice way of just sort of with shorthand letting the audience know that this creature is intelligent and it's not just a beast. So this way, anyone, even if you've never heard of a D&D monster before, you don't have any idea what a Mind Flayer is, you can look at this and know, okay, it's got some clothes on. That means it's like a guy, not just some animal. We can't really put it in that big leather coat that it's usually wearing with the way we've altered its body, but, it still has those great hands, so I think they are just begging for some big, chunky rings, Like some big, chunky rings with some costumey jewelry, maybe some skulls, because, like all creatures of the Underdark, let us never forget that the Mind Flayer is goth as fuck, and requires like 6 or 7 pewter rings at all times, minimum. In fact, I think I'm also going to give it like one of those big, nasty little goth talons. Even though it's kind of got natural claws already, it still needs one of those. Maybe a little dragon, because, that's appropriate, right? So, give it some jewelry. So I've got these little hand feet pretty much down. I think I'm gonna move back up into the tentacles. And just to kind of add to that creepy feeling that these little hands have, I'm gonna try and go for a similar effect. I'm gonna split up some of these tentacles so they look like they've just got a couple of fingers at the end. Just to make it look a little more unnatural. Give it more hands to grab stuff with. I won't do it with all of the tentacles because it's already kind of hard to fit them all into the image, but I'll have a few of them kind of split up and have these little squidgy fingers. Now, I'm looking at this guy and thinking, where else can I put some clothes on him to make the audience realize he is civilized? And if I know one thing about goths, and I've been known to know a thing or two about goths, if I know one thing about goths, though, it is that they love weird little hats, especially top hats. They love the Victorian era, they love that whole aesthetic. So let's throw one of those on this guy. Let's get a nice little Mad Hatter style hat. Just to make it a little more extra, let's put some flair on there. Throw in like another little skull, maybe some funerary flowers, just really get the aesthetic going. Get a few more little details in here. So we got our basic Mind Flayer design. We got him looking sharp as hell. Let's give him a few props. What I'm thinking is, okay, so what does a Mind Flayer do? It eats your brain, right? I mean, it does other stuff, but, like, there's a lot of magical creatures and magical people out there who might try and dominate your will with psychic powers, but what really pushes the Mind Flayer over the top for creepiness is the knowledge that if it gets a chance, it's gonna take those big ol' tentacles, wrap them around your skull, and suck your brain out like a boba pearl. It's just that level of body horror that gives it that extra edge, I think. I think with this design we should really lean into that and give it a little spork or a fork that it can carry around. Maybe some condiments, a little bottle of ketchup or something. Just to really get that psychological warfare aspect in. I mean, yeah, you can assume a Mind Flayer wants to eat your brain, but when you see it coming at you with like a little lobster bib and a salt shaker or something, it's like, oh shit, this thing's really after my brains. It's demoralizing, it's terrifying. It's not just that this thing's gonna eat your brain, it's gonna really enjoy it. It's been thinking about eating your brain all day, and now it's just ready to chow down. And you know what, I think I'm gonna also give him a jar of mayonnaise. I think that there's at least some people out there who would consider the idea that a creature's gonna eat their brain with mayonnaise almost as bad as it eating their brain in the first place. It's just insult to injury. Now I'm just gonna take the time to get a few little details in there. Give it that nice little tentacle texture, tentacular texture. Tentacular, spectacular. So, yeah, I think we're getting close to getting done here. And I think we've pretty much nailed it, honestly. I mean, shit, if my gnome wizard was wandering in a dungeon somewhere and this thing came running up to her, I would turn tail and get the fuck away. This thing is terrifying. So yeah, nailed it. Fantastic. You're welcome, Wizards of the Coast. This is all for you, free of charge. I said it on the internet, so it's legally binding. So you can just take this and just copy paste it right off of a screen cap of a YouTube video and pop it right into your 6th edition monster manual. And as for the rest of you, I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, seriously, leave me a comment for suggestions for what monsters I should redesign, / improve, / make way scarier than the original. I don't know if I'm gonna make a lot of these videos or not, but if there's some interest, that would definitely motivate me more. If you wanna like and subscribe, that'd be awesome. And if you didn't like it, then go watch something else. Life's too short to watch videos you hate. Bye!